Have you ever woken up, stood up too quickly, and suddenly felt lightheaded, maybe even a little dizzy? Maybe you've brushed it off, thinking, oh, I just got up too fast, and carried on with your morning routine. But what if I told you that something as simple and harmless as your morning routine could be putting you at serious risk, even tripling your chance of having a stroke? Hi there, I'm so glad you're here today, especially if you're over 60, because this message is for you, and it could change the way you look at your mornings and your brain health forever. You see, strokes don't just come out of nowhere. They're often triggered by small, everyday habits we hardly think twice about. And there's one in particular, one that many people do within 10 minutes of waking up, that silently raises your risk of a stroke more than most people realize. Now, I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to empower you. When you understand how your brain works and how sensitive it becomes with age, you'll start to see that even tiny changes can make a big difference in how you feel and how long you stay sharp and independent. So, what is this morning mistake I'm talking about? And what can you do instead to protect your brain and keep your stroke risk low? Well, first, let's step into a typical morning. The alarm goes off, or maybe your body wakes you up naturally. You open your eyes, toss the covers aside, and immediately sit up or swing your legs over the edge of the bed. It seems harmless, right? But here's the problem. After a full night's sleep, your body, especially your circulatory system, is in a kind of low power mode. Your blood pressure is lower, your blood vessels are a little more relaxed, and your brain hasn't had its full oxygen supply restored yet. When you suddenly shift from lying down to standing up, your body has to adjust fast. If it can't adjust quickly enough, especially if you're older, on certain medications, or dealing with dehydration, it can lead to a dangerous drop in blood pressure. This is called orthostatic hypotension, and it's more common after 60 than most people think. When that happens, your brain gets less blood and less oxygen for a few seconds. You feel dizzy, unsteady, maybe even nauseous. And that's not just uncomfortable, it can be dangerous. Repeated episodes like this, day after day, can strain the blood vessels in your brain and increase your chances of a mini stroke or a full-blown stroke. So the first change I want to share with you is simple. Slow down your mornings. I know, it doesn't sound very exciting, but it's incredibly powerful. When you wake up, give yourself a minute, literally, just 1 minute. Lie there, wiggle your fingers and toes, take a few deep breaths, let your body adjust. Then, instead of jumping up, slowly roll to your side, let your legs hang off the bed, and push yourself up gently. Pause again while sitting on the edge of the bed. Take a few more deep breaths. Only then stand up, slowly. This might seem like such a small change, but I can't stress enough how much it can protect your brain and heart. It gives your body time to catch up, to stabilize blood flow, and to make sure your brain is getting the oxygen it needs before you start your day. It's not about being lazy, it's about being smart. Now, while we're talking about how your morning affects your stroke risk, there's another culprit that often goes unnoticed: skipping water first thing in the morning. After 7 or 8 hours without fluids, your body is naturally dehydrated. Your blood becomes thicker, your circulation slows, and guess what? Your risk of blood clots rises. And blood clots are one of the major causes of strokes. I always tell my patients, your first drink of the day should be water, not coffee, not tea, not juice, just a simple glass of water. Room temperature is best. This helps rehydrate your system, wake up your metabolism, and get your blood flowing smoothly again. It's like giving your brain a fresh wave of fuel and oxygen. I know. Many people say, but I need my coffee first. And I get it. That warm cup of comfort is a habit, and there's nothing wrong with it. But just make sure that water comes first. Even half a glass can make a big difference. And if you're someone who gets up and immediately rushes into chores, maybe feeding the dog, checking the news, or jumping into the shower, try creating a gentler start. Keep a glass of water by your bedside. Drink it before you even stand up. Then go through your slow wake-up steps. This small shift not only protects your brain, but you may even find you feel more alert, more steady, and more focused throughout the morning. So we've talked about two powerful changes already: giving yourself a slow, gentle rise in the morning and rehydrating your body before anything else. These are simple, but don't let that fool you. They matter more than you think. And here's something else you may not realize. Stress, first thing in the morning, especially the kind we don't even notice, is another big stroke risk. Let me explain. When you wake up and immediately flood your mind with worries, bad news, or a sense of urgency, your brain enters a kind of fight-or-flight mode. Your body releases cortisol, adrenaline, and other stress hormones. This can spike your blood pressure and put extra strain on the blood vessels in your brain. And yes, this can even happen before you've left your bed, just from reading emails, checking social media, or seeing negative news headlines. It might not feel like stress in the traditional sense, but your brain doesn't know the difference. It just sees danger and reacts. So instead of diving straight into the digital world, try this. Take 5 slow breaths before you even reach for your phone. Focus on the feeling of air filling your lungs and slowly exhale. Let that be the first message you send to your body. I am safe. I am calm. I'm starting my day with peace. It sounds small, but those quiet, intentional moments set the tone for your entire day. More importantly, they protect your blood pressure and help keep your brain in balance. Now that we've started looking at how your morning habits can either support or sabotage your brain health, it's time to explore even more ways to reduce your stroke risk. And trust me, the next few habits are just as eye-opening. So far, we've talked about waking up slowly, drinking water first thing, and calming your mind before the day begins. These are foundational, but now let's look at something that might surprise you: your bathroom routine. I know, it's not something most people like to talk about openly, but if you're over 60, what happens in the bathroom can tell you a lot about your health and can even be a warning sign of increased stroke risk. Let me explain. When your body is dehydrated, your stools tend to become harder. When that happens, you might find yourself straining, pushing harder than usual. But what many people don't realize is that this simple act of straining increases the pressure in your chest and raises your blood pressure, especially in your brain. In fact, one of the lesser-known stroke triggers in older adults is excessive straining on the toilet. It can cause something called a Valsalva maneuver, which sounds fancy, but basically means you're holding your breath and pushing hard, both of which put sudden stress on your heart and brain. That's why making sure you're staying regular, comfortably, and gently is so important. And the key to that? Fiber, hydration, and movement. We already covered the water part, so keep that glass by your bed, but let's not forget fiber. If your breakfast consists of white toast, a sugary cereal, or just coffee, you're missing out on what your gut and your brain really needs. Try this instead. Something like warm oatmeal topped with a handful of berries or flax seeds, or even a slice of whole grain toast with avocado. These small changes support your digestion, reduce strain, and help lower that hidden stroke risk most people never talk about. And bonus, you'll probably feel lighter and more energetic throughout the day too. Now, since we're talking about the early hours of your day, there's one more thing I have to mention: movement. And I'm not talking about a full-blown workout or jogging around the block. I'm talking about gentle, intentional movement within the first hour of waking up. You see, after a long night of being still, your blood tends to pool in the lower parts of your body. And when you start to move, just a little, you encourage circulation to pick back up. You send fresh blood to your brain, your muscles, and your heart. And that circulation is what keeps everything working properly. Now, I'm not suggesting you roll out a yoga mat and start doing headstands, but even 5 minutes of movement can make a difference. Stretch your arms overhead, roll your shoulders, gently twist side to side. Walk to the window and take a few deep breaths of fresh air. If you can, go outside and let your feet touch the earth or feel the sun on your skin. All of this tells your body, hey, it's a new day, let's get going. It helps regulate your blood pressure, keeps your joints happy, and yes, it lowers your stroke risk. One of the things I always remind my older patients is that movement is medicine, but it doesn't have to be intense or intimidating. What matters most is consistency. It's the habit of showing your body you care. It's the rhythm of moving a little every morning that keeps your heart strong and your brain alert. And speaking of rhythm, let's talk about sleep. Because believe it or not, what you do in the morning is often directly connected to how you slept the night before. And poor sleep isn't just frustrating, it can silently raise your blood pressure and your stroke risk too. When your sleep is disrupted, your body releases more stress hormones, your arteries stiffen, and your brain has a harder time flushing out waste. Over time, that inflammation and pressure builds up. So if you're waking up groggy, feeling like your brain is in a fog, or needing naps during the day, don't ignore those signs. That's your brain trying to get your attention. The good news is, everything we've talked about so far, hydration, calm mornings, light movement, healthy digestion, they all help set the stage for better sleep tonight. And better sleep, in turn, makes your mornings smoother and safer. It all works together like a well-tuned orchestra, and you, my friend, are the conductor. Now, I know some of this might sound like a lot, but here's the truth. You don't have to change everything overnight. Even if you pick just one of these habits to start with, maybe it's the glass of water, or maybe it's giving yourself that extra minute in bed, you're already making progress. You're already sending a powerful message to your brain and your body that you care. That you're not just drifting through the day, but intentionally shaping it. Because stroke prevention isn't about living in fear. It's about living with awareness. It's about realizing that every day, every morning, you have the opportunity to do something good for your health, and that's empowering. So let's keep going. Let's build on what we've started. There's still one more morning mistake we haven't talked about yet, and it's one that hides in plain sight. Most people do it without even thinking, and yet it can quietly undo all the good you're trying to do for your brain and your body. Let's take a closer look at that. Let's talk about one of the most overlooked, but incredibly common, morning mistakes people make after 60. It may not seem dangerous, but day after day, it silently chips away at your brain health, raises your blood pressure, and significantly increases your stroke risk. And here it is, skipping breakfast, or worse, starting your day with sugar. I know, sometimes you just don't feel hungry. Or maybe you've heard about those trendy intermittent fasting plans and think skipping breakfast might actually be good for you. But here's what I want you to know, especially after 60. Your brain needs fuel in the morning, real fuel, not just caffeine or a quick cookie. When you skip breakfast, your blood sugar stays low, and your body releases stress hormones to compensate. And guess what those hormones do? They raise your blood pressure. They tighten your blood vessels. They create the perfect storm for a stroke to occur. Now, I'm not saying you need a huge meal, but your brain and body need a little something. Protein is especially important. A boiled egg, a piece of whole grain toast with peanut butter, some Greek yogurt with a handful of nuts. These kinds of simple breakfasts give your body a steady, calm start instead of a crash and burn one. What many people don't realize is that the older we get, the less flexible our body becomes in responding to stress, including the stress of fluctuating blood sugar. And if your first meal of the day is a muffin, a pastry, or just juice, your blood sugar spikes and then crashes, which can leave you feeling dizzy, tired, irritable, or even confused. And again, that fluctuation puts pressure on the tiny blood vessels in your brain. Over time, they wear down. That's how a mini stroke, or even a major one, can start to form. But the beautiful thing is, you can change that story. Just by choosing a simple, balanced breakfast with some fiber, protein, and healthy fat, you're telling your body, we've got this. We're not panicking. We're steady. And that steady rhythm protects your heart, your brain, and your energy throughout the entire day. And since we're on the topic of what goes into your body, let's not forget medication timing. This one is especially important for those of you who take blood pressure medicine or blood thinners. Did you know that the timing of your medication, especially if taken too early or too late, can actually increase stroke risk? Some people take their pills the moment they open their eyes, before even sitting up or drinking water. But if your blood pressure is already low from lying down all night, and then you take a pill that lowers it further, you could be putting yourself in a dangerous zone.
I always recommend this. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist about the best time to take your medications. And always, always make sure you're fully awake, have sat up slowly, and had a little water before taking anything. It's such a simple habit, but it makes a world of difference. Now, I want to pause here and ask you something. Have you noticed how all of these habits we've talked about, getting up slowly, drinking water, avoiding stress, eating breakfast, moving your body, aren't radical? They're not expensive, they don't require a gym membership or fancy equipment, but they are powerful because they work with your body, not against it. They honor the changes that naturally come with age, and they help you adapt in a way that keeps you independent, strong, and mentally sharp. That's really the goal here, not just avoiding a stroke, but living with clarity, confidence, and purpose, being able to do what you love, go where you want, and connect with the people who matter most, without fear, without confusion, without being held back by health problems that could have been prevented. And if you've already had a stroke scare, or know someone who has, then you understand just how fragile our brain health can be. You know what it feels like to look in the mirror and think, I wish I'd known sooner. But the good news is, it's never too late to take back control. Even if you start today with one new morning habit, you're already shifting the direction of your health. So, as we begin the wrap up, let's take a breath together. Just breathe in slowly and exhale gently. That breath, that moment of calm, is part of your healing, and I hope you carry that with you as you move into your mornings from now on, with intention, with care, and with the confidence that you're doing something truly good for yourself. Remember, every day is a fresh start. You don't have to be perfect, you just have to begin. And if you ever feel overwhelmed or unsure, come back to this. Slow down, sip water, move gently, eat mindfully, breathe deeply. These are your anchors. They will serve you well at any age. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What's one morning habit you're going to try this week? Maybe something you've never thought about before, or something you're ready to bring back into your routine. Let's learn from each other. Your comment might inspire someone else who's watching right now. If this video helped you feel more informed, more hopeful, or more empowered, please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. We've got so many more uplifting and practical videos coming your way, all designed to help you live your healthiest, happiest life after 60. You are not alone on this journey, and you are absolutely capable of creating a better, brighter future for yourself one morning at a time. Here's to living your best life with a clear mind and a strong heart. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.